The woolly mammoth was perfectly adapted to the Ice Age, with shaggy fur, a thick layer of fat, and tusks that could reach over 15 feet long. They roamed in great herds across Europe, Asia, and North America, grazing on frozen grasses. But with a warming climate and relentless hunting from humans, they gradually disappeared, surviving only on isolated islands until about 4,000 years ago. The dodo was a flightless bird native to Mauritius, about a meter tall and heavy-bodied. Its curious and fearless nature made it an easy victim for sailors and the animals they brought, like rats, cats, and pigs. Within less than a century of its discovery in the 1600s, the dodo was gone forever, remembered today as the symbol of extinction caused by humans. Known as the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon was one of the most fearsome predators of the Ice Age. Its massive fangs, reaching 7 inches, were perfect for ambushing large prey like bison and camels. Fossils from the La Brea tar pits in California reveal entire packs trapped while hunting. Yet, when many of its prey species vanished at the end of the Ice Age, Smilodon too disappeared around 10,000 years ago. The Tasmanian tiger, or Thylacine, looked like a wolf with stripes, but it was actually a marsupial. Once common in Australia, it survived only on Tasmania after dingoes spread across the mainland. Hunted as a pest by farmers and weakened by disease, its population collapsed. The last known Thylacine died in 1936, and today only eerie black and white film reminds us of this vanished predator. The Megalodon was the ocean's ultimate predator, a shark the length of a bus with jaws wide enough to swallow a human whole. Its teeth, as large as a human hand, are still found on beaches today. With a bite force stronger than any animal in history, it preyed on whales and giant turtles. About 3 million years ago it vanished, likely due to cooling oceans and competition from smaller, faster sharks like the great white. The moa were giant, flightless birds from New Zealand, some standing over 12 feet tall. They had no natural predators until humans arrived in the 13th century. Within just a few generations, overhunting wiped them out completely. Today, their massive skeletons are displayed in museums, showing the incredible size these birds once reached. The cave bear was larger than today's grizzlies, with males weighing over 1,000 kilograms. They roamed Ice Age Europe, often hibernating in caves, leaving behind thousands of bones for scientists to find. Likely herbivorous, they faced pressure from both climate change and human hunters, disappearing about 25,000 years ago. The Irish elk, or giant deer, carried antlers stretching up to 12 feet across, the largest of any deer in history. Despite the name, they ranged far beyond Ireland, across Europe and Asia. They thrived during the Ice Age but declined as forests replaced open grasslands, making their enormous antlers a disadvantage. The species vanished around 7,700 years ago. Discovered in 1741 by explorer George Steller, the sea cow was a peaceful, 30-foot-long relative of manatees. Living in the cold waters near the Commander Islands, they were slow, gentle, and easy to hunt. Tragically, in less than 30 years, sailors and fur traders wiped them out completely, one of the fastest recorded extinctions in history. At one time, passenger pigeons were the most numerous bird on Earth. Billions darkened the skies of North America in flocks that could take hours to pass overhead. But habitat destruction and relentless hunting for meat led to a shocking collapse. The last known pigeon, named Martha, died in the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914, marking the end of a species that once seemed limitless. Triceratops was one of the last great dinosaurs, instantly recognizable with its 3 horns and massive frill. Living in North America 68 to 66 million years ago, it used its horns for defense and likely for dominance battles with rivals. As a plant eater, it grazed in herds, but like all non-avian dinosaurs, it vanished in the mass extinction event that ended the Cretaceous period. The Carolina parakeet was the only native parrot in the eastern United States. With bright green feathers and an orange head, it once flocked in the millions. Farmers, however, saw them as pests and shot them in huge numbers, while deforestation destroyed their habitat. The last captive bird died in 1918, erasing America's only parrot forever. The Glyptodon was like a Volkswagen-sized armadillo, covered in a protective shell of bony plates. These Ice Age herbivores lived in South America, grazing along rivers and grasslands. Despite their armor, early humans hunted them, even using their shells as shelters. They disappeared around 10,000 years ago alongside many other megafauna. Pteranodon was a giant flying reptile with a wingspan over 20 feet, soaring over Cretaceous seas. Unlike birds, it was a pterosaur, with hollow bones and long, toothless beaks for catching fish. They ruled the skies until the same extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs brought their reign to an end. The cave lion, larger than any modern big cat, roamed across Europe and Asia during the Ice Age. It's often depicted in prehistoric cave paintings, showing how important it was in human culture. These powerful predators hunted mammoths, bison, and horses, but disappeared about 14,000 years ago, likely due to changing climate and human competition. The great auk was a flightless seabird of the North Atlantic, resembling a giant penguin. It was hunted heavily for meat, oil, and feathers. By the mid-1800s, the last colonies were destroyed by sailors, and the final pair was killed in 1844 on Eldey Island, Iceland. Today, stuffed specimens are among the rarest treasures in museums. Deinosuchus was a prehistoric crocodile over 30 feet long, big enough to swallow a dinosaur whole. Living in rivers and swamps of North America, it ambushed prey at the water's edge, just like modern crocodiles but on a much larger scale. Though terrifying, it too vanished before the end of the Cretaceous. Argentavis, from Argentina, was the largest flying bird ever known, with a wingspan of nearly 7 meters. It soared on air currents like a glider, hunting smaller animals or scavenging carcasses. Though it lived 6 million years ago, its size remains unmatched by any bird today. Gastornis, once called Diatrima, was a giant flightless bird that lived about 50 million years ago in Europe and North America. Standing up to 2 meters tall with a massive beak, it was long thought to be a predator, but evidence suggests it likely fed on tough plants and seeds. Its size made it one of the most impressive post-dinosaur birds. Mastodons looked like smaller, stockier versions of mammoths, with straighter tusks. They roamed North America for millions of years, feeding on trees and shrubs. Hunted by early humans and affected by Ice Age climate shifts, they vanished around 10,000 years ago. Their fossils are often mistaken for mammoth remains. Megatherium was a giant ground sloth the size of an elephant, one of the largest land mammals ever. Living in South America, it used its huge claws to pull down tree branches. Despite being slow, it had few predators until humans arrived. Hunting and habitat changes likely caused its extinction about 10,000 years ago. Stegosaurus is famous for the double row of bony plates along its back and its spiked tail. Living in the Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago, it was a peaceful plant eater. Despite its small brain, its defensive tail could fend off predators like Allosaurus. Ichthyosaurs were marine reptiles shaped like dolphins, perfectly adapted to ocean life. They gave live birth at sea and could dive deep in search of squid and fish. Though they thrived for millions of years, they disappeared before the dinosaurs' final extinction, likely due to shifting seas and new predators. Paraceratherium was the largest land mammal ever to walk the earth, a hornless rhinoceros over 15 feet tall at the shoulder. It lived in Asia about 30 million years ago, browsing treetops like a giraffe. Its sheer size kept it safe from predators, but climate shifts reduced its food supply, leading to its extinction. Tyrannosaurus rex is the most iconic dinosaur, with powerful jaws and teeth the size of bananas. Living 66 million years ago in North America, it was both a top predator and scavenger. Despite its terrifying size, it fell victim to the asteroid impact that ended the dinosaur's reign. Meganeura was a giant dragonfly with a wingspan of 70 centimeters, flying over swamps 300 million years ago. High oxygen levels in the atmosphere allowed insects to grow enormous. It hunted other insects in midair, a prehistoric aerial predator. As oxygen levels dropped, such giants could no longer survive. Pliosaurs were marine reptiles with massive skulls and strong flippers, dominating the seas of the Jurassic. Some grew over 12 meters long, hunting fish, squid, and even other marine reptiles. They disappeared as ocean ecosystems shifted and new predators took their place. Anthracotherium was a semi-aquatic mammal, resembling a cross between a pig and a hippo. Living 40 to 20 million years ago, it spent much of its time in rivers and swamps. Fossil evidence suggests it was an ancestor of modern hippos and distantly related to whales. Diplodocus was a long-necked sauropod dinosaur, stretching over 25 meters in length. It used its whip-like tail for defense and could reach high branches for food. Living 150 million years ago, it remains one of the most famous dinosaurs thanks to its sheer size and iconic shape. Elasmotherium, sometimes called the Siberian unicorn, was a massive woolly rhinoceros with a single huge horn, possibly up to 2 meters long. It lived on the steppes of Eurasia and may have survived until as recently as 39,000 years ago, overlapping with early humans. Legends of unicorns may have roots in memories of this beast.